Hey, hey, hey.
There you go.
Hey, is it me? Am I live?
You're live.
Awesome, man. Well, see, I was expecting Paul Sullivan, the legend, to be in the studio and do the intro. And so I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, Brady. My name is Billy Merritt. If you don't know, I wrote this book called The Art of Text Message Selling. And this week, I had the privilege to bring this book and my family to Jamaica. And there's some car dealers down here. Brady, did you know that there is a Toyota of Jamaica and that they are about to get some education on the art of text message selling? Did you know there was a Toyota dealership in Jamaica?
I did not, but it does not surprise me. Everyone needs a Toyota.
They do. Everyone needs, and more importantly, everyone needs to understand the art of text message selling. This book has changed the game for car dealers all over the country. And now we're about to go, I guess you'd say, multinational. So I brought a couple of Digi Ninjas with me, and they are up here. Are y'all getting ready to? Y'all getting trained up, ready to go see some dealers?
We're ready.
They're ready to. I think they're ready to go lay in the beach or something like that. But I do have a couple of Digi Ninjas with me, Case and Cooper, who are normally in the studio with you, Brady, answering leads. They're down here with me, so we're going to call on some clients. I want to make sure the IRS knows that I'm here on business. Is Paul Sullivan going to be able to join today?
He's on the phone with a dealer right now.
He's solving problems. Okay, man, I really wanted to talk to Paul. Is there anyone else in the office, like on the other side of the camera there in the studio?
We've got Joey in here. He's also calling a couple dealers.
Okay, no problem. All right, so here's what I want to do, Brady. I'm just going to talk to you. First of all, I want to show you my office this morning. This is Jamaica, Montego Bay, Jamaica. We really are going to see some car dealers while we're down here. But I want to. This is the Monday Morning Money Show, and I want to talk to you about money. You know, Brady, you and I talk about money a lot, and I talk about, you know, how you can create more money, how you can generate more income, and you've taken the steps that I laid out for you, and you've actually created some income for yourself. Is that true?
I have.
Yes, residual income is the best income. That's the type of income that you can do the work one time and you get paid for it multiple times. Hey, look at there. Paul.
Hey.
I was interviewing myself and it was terrible, man. I'm glad you're here.
Well, I tell you what, my background doesn't look near as pretty as yours.
That's what I relied on. I'm like, you know what? I'm not prepared for this. So I'm just going to show everybody the scenery back there.
So how's everything going for you, man?
Man, I tell you what, man, it's no problem, man. It's been very cool. You know, do you know that they have a Toyota dealership in Montego Bay, Jamaica?
I did not know that, but I do now.
Yes, absolutely. So Brady, if you want to, in the background, maybe look up Toyota of Jamaica or Jamaica Toyota, you can see the guys there if they have their staff page that we're going to go by and see here in just a little bit. Because I was telling the people, Paul, you know, if you can travel and make it a business expense, then it's 100% legitimate to reduce that from your income before you have to pay taxes on it. Did you know that?
Yes, exactly. It's a smart move.
So all I have to do to make this a business trip, I did two things. Number one, I have to do some business. So we're going to be talking to people about the art of text message selling in Jamaica, which is an English-speaking country, by the way. There's one of the Digi Ninjas down here. Brady, if you'll go back to the screen. I know Brady's wanting to show us the Toyota dealership there. But before this Digi Ninja runs off, they're out there. I think they're picking limes or something. Can you see them out there? That's Case.
Very small Case in the back.
So anyway, Paul, if you can do business, then your lodging and your travel is actually tax deductible. So anytime, I learned this from Robert Kiyosaki. He said, invest where you travel, or either get your family involved in your business so that when you travel, their accommodations and yours can be a tax deduction. So that's a smart move. I'm glad that I studied that. And by the way, today's sponsor is Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. We were there yesterday and they donated the shirt for $20. They gave us the shirt and now they're a sponsor. That's how that worked out.
Jimmy Buffett sponsoring the show. That should be the Feeling Good Friday sponsor right there.
It really should. So I can't remember his name, but our waiter yesterday, I don't know if he was, I believe him. I think he was being very honest. He said that when Jimmy Buffett opens a new restaurant, that he's the guy that comes in and trains everybody. He was a very talented individual. His customer service skills were definitely a 10 out of a 10. One thing that was unique, though, he asked us if we wanted a bucket of beer, and I said, man, I wish Paul was here so he could talk
Man, I'm
about
there.
Feel Good Friday and the beer. And in Jamaica, have you ever been to Jamaica, Paul?
I have not.
Okay. Well, you don't get to say, give me a Sam Adams or, Oktoberfest. You just say, I want a beer, because there's one option.
Red Stripe.
That's it. So he said, hey, man, you need a bucket of beer, man? I was like, yes, give us a bucket. Actually, we didn't want a bucket, but he sold us on the bucket.
We made the big offer.
He made the big offer, and he said, I'll give you a deal or something, half off, because they love negotiating. He said, and I'll share. He said, I'll help you drink it. So I thought he was kidding. So he comes over to the table, pops the top on a couple of them, and turns this thing up, and in like 3 seconds drinks the entire Red Stripe beer. And I'm like,
Dang.
that can't be appropriate. Well, needless to say, he had about 5 tables, and he was doing that with all of them. So I don't know. I guess you have to.
That man he is a professional.
He is a professional. Well, let's talk about some business, Paul. Let's talk about some money. This is the money show. We had a fantastic 2020. We're wrapping up the final year. We had a fantastic 2020, and it was in large part to do with Facebook and our ability to advertise on Facebook and reach people on Facebook. And we're expecting to do some of that in 2020 as well. But as you know, we've been developing what we think is a more effective way to communicate with clients or with customers. And that is through instant message and chat on, in most cases, the dealership's website. Now, we've been talking to other businesses, real estate people, trailer, RV, anybody who has a business. You and I agree that you need to be talking to these people while they are on your website. Is that true? Do you agree with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think more and more people are going to do that. And I don't usually make predictions, Paul. And this is going to sound like a strange prediction coming from me, the guy who's been preaching Facebook for so long. I can see a lot of dealers, a lot of businesses scaling back and pulling away from Facebook in 2021. Number one, are you surprised that I would say that? And number two, do you agree with me?
If you would have asked me that 6 months ago, I would have said, yes, I'm surprised. Now knowing what we know with Facebook, what they're doing, what they're not doing, all kinds of that stuff, I'm not surprised right now. And as far as in agreement, I'm 100% in agreement now. Look, we've kind of jokingly said 2020 has been the year of adjust and adapt. We've kind of made that our motto here. But the entire world's been doing that. And they have to adjust and adapt all the time. So you got to ride the waves as they come along and be ahead of the game and be willing to make those changes when needed.
I totally agree, Paul. And you and I, we talked about the ups and downs of different media, including radio and TV. And, I joked about seeing a resurgence of radio. If it does, it'll be something totally different. But I've been preaching Facebook for so long. And people are now, but here's the kicker, man. Here's what's unique is now Facebook is the number one media for most businesses. So that's why I'm moving on. Now, I'm not giving up on Facebook. Facebook has been great to us. And it's kind of like some people still do direct mail. So when one of my clients asked me, Billy, will you do a direct mail for us? I say, sure, I'll be happy to do that. But I want to be the guy in the new space, man. I want to be the guy that very few people are using. I want to be using the media that very few people are using, to the point that they're ridiculing, saying, man, what is he doing using chat? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You remember, Paul, 3, 4, well, that's probably 5 or 6 years ago when we were really going heavy for the first time on Facebook. There was a lot of ridicule. There was a lot of, will you tell us how it was like when people first started hearing about what Billy was doing with this app called Facebook?
Oh, heck. I mean, I was one of the people that was going, it's just too much. It's just too much. He's on it all the time. He's posting all the time. All that kind of overkill type of thing is what I was calling it. But I mean, you proved that, when it was getting started, you were ahead of the game. And that's what you're trying to do with in business. You're always trying to be ahead of the game. You don't want to be the last minute Larry who jumps on at the very end. You want to be paving the way, for what's different. So years ago, and to answer your question, years ago, I thought you were doing it too much, but you were getting attention. People started noticing you. Then you started using Facebook the way no one else was. So I mean, you were the original Facebook event marketer,
the pioneer, if you will.
Yes. As you get adjusted. So Billy's trying to get adjusted. Look at him rearing back, in Jamaica on the couch.
Getting my vitamin C too, by the way.
That's it. Anything mixed in with the vitamin C?
Just straight vitamin C, man.
Straight vitamin C.
Freshly squeezed.
Don't make me even more jealous. No, that's okay. Really, don't.
But yeah, I like what you said there. Last minute Larry. So here's something that's funny. Anybody coming to Facebook as the primary source of their advertising now, you're already a last minute Larry.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that there's not value there. So I have a lot of dealers who, heck, they were calling this morning. It was right before you got on here. Jamie was on. He was calling me and said, "Hey, this VIP customer of ours, they're wanting to run a Facebook event next week." I said, "Okay, we'll do it, but let's also do the text blast. Let's also do the email blast. Let's also use some of the other things that you and I are working on right now that we may not want to put out there yet, that's way more effective because fewer people are doing it." The thing about Facebook is now it's just an advertising agency for everybody, and we'll continue to use it, but you're the last minute Larry if you're just showing up at the party. Now you have hundreds of agencies across the country that are doing exactly what we were doing 2 years ago. They're emailing dealers, telling them about all the results they can have with the Facebook events. And that's fine. You can have it. But let's face it, when you have 20 dealers in Tampa, Florida, running the same style event, targeted at the same customers, it's no more effective than radio was when everybody was advertising on the same station.
Correct.
So that's I'm excited that you agree with me on that, Paul, because generally you and I, there's a learning curve before we get on the same page. So I was a little bit nervous to tell you what 2021 was going to look like, but here's what it's going to look like. Facebook is going to continue to be the primary source for most people's ads, most people's advertising, but the DigiNinja team and the DigiNinja.com and Billy Merritt Marketing in general is going to take it to another level with personalized chat with real people on the websites of dealers. Car dealer website is where all your attention needs to be focused. So listen to me, dealers. Listen to me, last minute Larrys. You don't need to be spending the bulk of your money on Facebook ads. You need to be spending the bulk of your money on getting people to your website. And don't fall for people talking about SEO management and search engine optimization and third-party lead responders. Don't fall for it. They're going to throw around a bunch of terms that make you think that they know what they're talking about. What you need is someone who knows how to craft a big offer on multiple platforms that drive those people to your website, and then you need real live operators talking to those people using the art of text message selling to get them in the door. And listen, you don't have to let us do it, but you better be doing it that way. You need to be driving people to your website, and you need to be interacting with those people in real time. Paul?
I think one of the rules that you have in the book, be fast or you're dead. That's going to apply pretty much in anything. I mean, if a customer is on the lot and you let them stand out there and you don't pay any attention to them, and then the next thing you know, they leave. So you weren't fast enough to get to the customer. We're not talking about running, sprinting and jumping in their face and being that obnoxious salesman, but being courteous and being what's the word I'm looking for? You want to care. Yeah. I mean, you want to care about the customer. So again, is when you're talking about text or even a phone call, think about it now. If somebody makes a phone call to the dealership, all right, so they just call a dealership. They call the dealership. How many, and Billy, if you were calling a dealership or even like a restaurant, something like that, and the phone rang, how many times are you going to let that phone ring before you hang up?
Man, I mean, I may be stretching it if I say 4 times,
Yeah. I mean, people want, answer the damn phone. I mean, they want somebody to pick up. They want to talk to somebody. They want to know what's going on. Same way with the text. I mean, even people that are sending a text to their friend, to their buddy, one of your kids, you're in Jamaica right now. So you're going to send them a text and say, hey, meet us at this place at this time. How long do you expect, how quick do you expect them to respond?
Yeah, normally pretty fast, but they will. If you ever come to Jamaica, you will find out. That's one thing that they do not expect them to be prompt, and that's just a nationwide condition, we'll call it. They say I'll be right there, and you better go ahead and siphon your own gas if you're waiting on somebody to bring you some gas. But yeah, to your point, this is a vacation destination. This is not, a business hub. So you got to do business. You need to do it promptly, and you need to do it effectively with concern. I love what you say there. You care, man. I mean, it's very important to care and be kind.
And that's when, so now we're talking about, chat be on their website. You mentioned the third party, the AI, the artificial intelligent companies, and, they come in, they don't care. They can't care. It's a robot. A robot can't care. It has no feelings. It has no emotion. So when a customer texts in and they want some information, the robot just basically says, hey, what's a name? What's a number? What's a contact where we can have somebody reach out to you? So really you haven't done anything for the customer. Really, all you've done is taken something from the customer. So you haven't given anything. So having a real person answer those chat leads, now you're talking person to person. You can answer direct questions. You can get them all the information you want. That's where the value is.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about the year in review 2020. Fantastic year. And I know a lot of people, there's been a lot of suffering. There's been a lot of people, we have people now that are in our office, and we have people that I'm Facebook friends with that have sick loved ones. I have personal friends that have lost loved ones in 2020. Our condolences from Paul and the entire staff at DigiNinja. We really feel for you. We definitely understand this has been a serious year, to say the least. And on a business level for Paul and the business that we have, that we're running, that Paul's helping me run on a daily basis, it was a fantastic year. We were able to help dealers sell cars. We were the fastest growing vendor in the entire car business. So from a business standpoint, we're super excited about 2020. And looking forward, Paul, I think 2021 is going to be our best year yet. We were able to increase 2019. From 2019 to 2020 was about a 20% increase, maybe 30%. And I think we can double it this year because of the new products that we're bringing out. Those products are solutions. So, that's our business. But I want to make a prediction about a couple of social media companies. Actually, I'll mention all 3 of them, or 3 of the big ones. So you have Facebook. If you notice, their stock is down in the last 30 days. Now, I'm shifting gears because I said that Facebook is going to $1,000 a share. That's what I said probably 24 months ago when it was like at $70 a share. And so it's gone up about 3 times since then, 300%. And now I'm shifting gears. In 2021, you're going to see Facebook market cap and Facebook stock fall. It's about 250 or 260 right now. My prediction for Facebook stock is going to be below 200 in the first quarter, because more and more people are going to see that you can actually reach customers elsewhere. Right now, they're the only show that there is for most people, but people are going to understand that there's other ways to do it. Right now, Facebook is in a big, heated battle with Apple, okay, about being able to track users over multiple apps on the iPhone. Now, I'm right in the middle of this myself. I'm broadcasting live on Facebook from my iPhone, okay? So, but here is what Facebook is not going to allow. I'm sorry, Apple. Apple's not going to allow any advertisers, anybody using Facebook to track me when I jump over to LinkedIn or when I jump over to another app. So that's good for our privacy, but it's bad for people who use targeted ads. We don't really use that many targeted ads, so it's not going to affect us that much. But it will affect other businesses, specialty items that they retarget. We don't do retargeting ads. We just do big offers right out there, engage in the conversation.
Right.
But because so many people do rely on those targeted ads, you're going to see a pullback, and you're going to see other social media rise up, like Snapchat. Snapchat is a very young audience right now. But Paul, if you want to follow me, all you got to do is hop over on Snapchat with the @Billy W Merritt, and you can follow me, and all the tours and the places we've been are all documented there on Snapchat. Well, guess what? It's not as big as Facebook, but a lot of people are using Snapchat. So that means we don't have to track them. We just put our ads on Snapchat. And now we can do the same thing with Snapchat that we did with Facebook. So other people are going to figure that out as well. So Snapchat stock's going to increase. Facebook's going to pull back. Apple is at $2.3 trillion market cap. It took Apple like 50 years. I'm pulling this from my head. So, if I'm off a few years, forgive me, but you'll get the point. It took Apple like 40 years to reach $1 trillion market cap. Okay. That was huge milestone. And for a long time, for a while, they were the biggest company out there as far as market cap. They reached $2 trillion in less than 12 months. So it went from $1 trillion to $2 trillion in 12 months. Now they're at $2.3 trillion. Maybe later they'll be broken up. Maybe later they'll lose some effectiveness. But as long as Apple is protecting our data, protecting our privacy, I'm not a huge fan now. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just telling you what the story is out there in the marketplace. That Apple does not share your information. Apple sells you a $300 iPhone for $1,200. That's how they make their money. The other companies like Facebook, it is a pay to play. We're the product. With Facebook wants to track people over every device, okay, and they're going to lose in 2021 because of the decency. I'm using air quotes, and because of Apple looking out for us. So that story, the best marketing tells a story, Paul. So that story is going to play out very well for Apple. Tim Cook and all the Apple people are saving the planet, protecting our privacy. Evil Mark Zuckerberg is trying to track you. He's pushing for one world order, all these things. That story is going to play out real poorly. And because of that, Facebook, which is about 800 billion in market cap, they're going to slide, man. I'm sorry. I know I'm normally an optimist, but I'm just telling you, if you want to make some money, short Facebook stock. Short Facebook stock, and then when it hits about 150, buy back in. They'll get it all dialed in, and there'll be a better product for it. It'll come roaring back maybe in 2022. Look, take all of this with a grain of salt, but I do have a lot of evidence, a lot of reasons. I'm not just making this up. I'm very researched in this department. What are your predictions for 2021, Paul?
For 2021, our business or personally?
Let's give me both of them.
Okay. Our business, I think that as we've gotten even better in 2020 with the adjust and adapt skills, I guess if you will. A lot of companies, we talked about when they had struggles, a lot of them went under. Now, again, some of them had no choice if they were in states that were shut down, closed down, things like that. That's hard to overcome. But we were fortunate enough in our state, we were able to do business, keep things rolling, keep things going. We had to adjust, we had to adapt. So again, proud of what we did in 2020. But I think that 2021, with our skills improved in changing and adapting and doing whatever it takes, getting our employees trained to even better. To being better text ninjas. I think 2021 looked very bright for our business, and I do agree that I think that will we double it? You're the optimist typically, and I'm more of the the skeptic or the pessimist or whatever. So will we double it? I'm going to say, just for argumentative sake, I'm going to say we're not going to double it. We're going to increase by 90%.
Hey, I love it, Paul. I really do, man. And I love the fact that we can have a real conversation and talk about these things, because all these are predictions. None of it's written in stone,
Oh, we may have lost Billy. There, he's frozen. He's frozen in Jamaica.
I'm back. Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Somebody was trying to call, man. This is the first time I've done this with my iPhone.
I thought it would be impossible to get frozen in Jamaica, but
I know. Hey, by the way, it's about 85 degrees out here, so I really do love it here. But I love being able to have a conversation, Paul, that's not just yeah, rah, 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 as you call it. This is a real conversation, and we can have disagreements, and I think that makes it a more meaningful conversation when you can have a discussion with someone and that disagrees with you. If it just slightly changes your point of view or gives you a little bit of fuel even, then that's better than having somebody just be a cheerleader. So I take your point. I understand what you're saying. It is very optimistic to say we'll double our business. So that's going to give me that much more fuel to prove you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll be pleased if in December of 2021, we look back and say, I told you.
I would love for you to tell me I told you so in 2020, in December 2021.
Hey, I got a hilarious story. I don't know why I didn't lead with this story. I guess because I was on here by myself and I was feeling nervous. So my anxiety went down once you sat in the chair there. But let me tell you, if you want to have some anxiety, you go online. You got somebody. Oh, I got all the wrong lights on, don't I? Okay. Okay, thank you.
He's trying to get business taken care of in Jamaica.
Obviously, I turned on the wrong lights. That's pretty cool. They actually live in the house with us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Part of the staff. They're super awesome. Very friendly, very prompt. They take care of business. But if you want to have some anxiety, plan a trip to Jamaica with your family, with 9 people in tow, yourself and 9 people in tow, and then go to the American Embassy website and look up travel to Jamaica. So, Brady, can you in the background just Google, should I travel to Jamaica?
Sure.
And then when you're ready, let me know. It'll tell you, to give you some guidelines. I think one of the first things it's going to say is reconsider traveling to Jamaica.
That's the first one right there.
Okay.
Put
it up there. Okay.
Reconsider travel to Jamaica due to health and safety measures and COVID-related conditions, et cetera, et cetera. So go ahead and give us your take on that, Billy.
Okay. So come back to both of us on the screen, Brady, because I have found out that people like to see us rather than the website. So, Paul, they must like us, man. But anyway, so if you read on there, what it says is high crime rate, armed burglaries. It goes on. It says some nasty things. I'm not even going to say some risks involved. And then it says, be prepared if you're coming from the United States to quarantine for 14 days. Okay. And then the other thing is it tells you that in order to even be considered to come in the country, you have to have a negative COVID test within the last 10 days. Okay, so there's 10 of us that we had to get a negative test within 10 days of our departure. So 10 days from the departure date, let's go ahead and get one. Some people in Atlanta, some people in Douglas, some people other places, we go to the closest place to get a test. Everyone does. And 7 of us get our tests back. 3 people don't receive their tests. And by the way, right up to the last minute, we're still waiting on like 3 passports that we haven't received yet. So from the people who never traveled before. We finally get the passports. The day before we leave, you're not going to believe this, Paul, but I had not yet went and got tested because I've been tested so many times. You know, we're already around so many people. I'm like, right. I'm not worried about it. I know I'm negative. I wait to the last minute. So I waited to the last minute. I went and got a rapid test. Negative. Everyone's negative, by the way. Thank God. I'm very thankful. But all they did was hand me a piece of paper. So we get to the airport in Atlanta, and everybody starts handing them their negative test. And you also have to have a travel authorization form filled out. You can only do that one time. And once you hit submit, you can't make any changes. Well, we put the wrong parish. So number one, our travel authorization is incorrect. This is not the place that our travel said we could come to. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I start handing them my negative COVID test, and the ladies just start shaking her head. No, this isn't going to work. So we had to get on the phone. Luckily, I knew the doctor, and get him to actually email the results from the test, because it didn't say which strand of COVID I was tested for. It just said COVID-19. So we get in. Okay, we're going to make it. We get ready to board the plane, and now they say, Taylor, who's in here, that her COVID test, they let us in, but now the Delta will not let her on the plane. They won't let her on the plane. Our luggage is on the plane. We're like, okay, well, if one person can't go, none of us can go. We finally present something to them. I'm just going to leave this out there for you. We present something to them that worked. Okay. Here's an email that says this, and they let us on the plane. Well, now I'm on the plane and my anxiety's through the roof, because now we got to get through customs in Jamaica.
Right.
And I had been watching videos, and if you want some anxiety, go to YouTube and search travel to Jamaica during COVID, and then sort it by the most recent. 2 videos in a row, people being contained, locked in rooms at the airport in Jamaica. Nobody saying that they got through. So I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster. So we're walking through, and there they are. There's the tables with the people with their coats, their lab coats on, and the mask, hair nets, gloves. And here's what made me think of it. Just as soon as you get off the ground, they spray you down. They spray your hands down with straight alcohol, and that you have to rub your hands together. Then I walk over to the table, and I'm like, so do I need to stop here? I'm trying to be as polite as I can. They said, no, just go on through unless they stop you. So much ado about nothing. As soon as we hit the airport, they just waved us through like just express lane. All 10 of us got through. And that was the moment that I had the most relief you could have, because I could just imagine me being quarantined for 14 days in a Jamaican hostel.
Ooh, what fun.
And I've got my family, and I've got 4 other people's family members. You know what I'm saying? Friends. Yeah. So I'm like, how am I going to explain this? But they let us through, and it's been a breeze. We actually rented a van. So another funny story, we rented a van, and a 10-passenger van, and it didn't have gas in it. And there was a curfew, a 7:00 curfew Saturday night, and so the stores were closed. So we actually had to siphon gas from another tank that the guy said he owned. I hope he did. We had to siphon the gas And while he was siphoning the gas went all in his face and eyes. So I had to siphon the gas. There's a picture on Facebook with me holding the gas can above my head so that the gas, it'll go into the van.
I did see that.
That's a real story. I mean, it really happened. And then we get, I didn't know that Jamaica, I had forgotten that Jamaica was once a British colony and that everybody drives on the left side of the road and you sit on the right side of the van. So that was unique. First time doing that with 10 people and luggage. So
no pressure.
So then we contact the people at the house, the people you've seen earlier there, and said, hey, where can we eat at? They said, you go over to this restaurant. Here's how you get there. So they gave me in their thick Jamaican accent, gave me directions on how to get to this restaurant. So we turned in this resort. They let us through the armed gate or the gate, the locked gate. They have a security guard out there and everything. And, I asked him for directions. They sound similar to what the lady told me on the phone. Well, about 10 minutes later, I am in the middle of a golf course on the golf cart trail. And I end up at these condos on the beach or these beach houses. And it's a golf cart roundabout. And I'm in this 10-passenger van. And I'm running over their flowers and their bushes as I turn around the roundabout. A long story. Well, I can't say long story short because that was a long story. But the long story, the end result was we got to the restaurant and we got to the house. We're not quarantined, but everywhere you go, the United States needs to pay attention. Let businesses open. When somebody walks in your establishment, make sure they have on a mask because we wear a mask everywhere we go, and then spray them down with alcohol, make them wash their hands in front of you and make them keep their mask on, and we can open up for business and everything can get back to somewhat normal.
Right. So the quick version of that, Brady, in case you fell asleep at the wheel when he was talking about it, now, when he gives Sarah a hard time. No, I'm just kidding. That was actually a very fun story. But so buy back Billy in Jamaica was don't come back Billy.
Yeah.
People's golf course at least, like, get off my flowers. Yeah, that's great. That's a great story. So how was the food then?
The food was fantastic. The food and the service down here is wonderful. Now, we did go to the supermarket to get food for here at the house, and they have some awesome vitamin C. But man, the hot dogs, the highest quality meat in the supermarket that we went to was the red hot dogs like you get, in America that are 99 cents for a big pack.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just because supply chain is so tough to get here.
Right.
If you're not ordering fresh seafood, then you probably better stick to something, in a can or in a plastic bag. That's unique. But now the restaurants that serve the fresh fish and the jerk chicken, oh my God, that stuff's delicious, man.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. You got to do it. You got to do it, Paul.
Well, I was going to kind of bring it back around to the Monday Morning Money Show. So this is what money can do for you. It can get you great vacations. It can get you great lifestyles, and you can bring your family along. Things like that. It's important. A lot of people, we definitely want to make sure that we mention that. Look, money is not the most important thing in the world. A lot of people think that way, Billy, but we know that. Look, it's a tool. I mean, you got to have it in life. You got to have it, to hit your goals, things like that. But it is a tool. It's not the most important thing. It's important, but it's not the most important.
Absolutely, man. And my family, actually, the youngest, Chloe, she's 14. We had a conversation before we actually got here talking about the importance of money. And I'm like, look, it's not. I understand. She asked me, so why are you always, focused on money? I said, look, if you're not focused on it, you're a victim of you're a victim of circumstance. So that's one thing you can get right. You can get your money right, and then once you get your money right, Paul, then we can work on all the important things: saving the planet, being a philanthropist, creating a charity, donating your time, donating your resources. She didn't know she was coming in on the show. They're just waking up. That's another thing that providing well will do is it can give you the type of lifestyle where these people are sleeping till 12 noon and they think that's acceptable. When they get back home, I'm gonna make them work 12-hour ninja shifts for 6 straight days. But yeah, man, it is very important to not lose sight of the other things. But if you have your money right, man, stressful situations become much more stressful. As a matter of fact, Paul, I'm glad you brought that up. I was reading a book this morning. I've been up since 3:30. The dog started barking, and I was checking the perimeter. But I started reading a book, and did you know that money, or the lack thereof, is directly tied to high blood pressure, anxiety, and health, man? People who have a lot of debt, are 8 times more like. Well, I'm sorry. Let me say it a different way. I don't want to sound that pessimistic. When you look at people who have committed suicide, those who commit suicide are 8 times more likely to be in debt than those who don't. So, it's very important, man, for your health and well-being to have some peace. Peace of, a peaceful spirit is probably the most beneficial thing you can have, but peace of mind and just knowing that you don't have to stress about money is important, man.
It really is. I mean, you're right. You talk about relationships, you talk about suicide rates, all that kind of stuff. So much of it is related to stress in financing. I mean, a lot of people, they don't understand how to use money. Even those that there's some people who make plenty of money, but they don't know how to use it. They overspend. They don't really pay much attention. Oh, I make all this money. I mean, some people will talk about how, Billy, I'm sure you've known some people in your life where you think this, where you say, I don't care how much money you make, you're always going to be broke. There's people like that. I mean, it doesn't matter. They can make $10,000 a year. They can make $10 million a year. They're going to be broke.
Yes.
I mean, it's their mindset, the way they spend, the way they don't really pay attention. And so, look, you don't have to make $10 million a year to be rich.
Right.
You can have the money that you make and earn. You can have that make money for you. You can be successful. And, one of the first things that when you and I got together, I've known you for a long time. And when we got together, where we started working together, was, you talked about what's your number? What's your number? And, you ask people, like, what's a number where you feel financially free? And that number fluctuates depending on the individual. Yes. And there's no wrong answer, because it is up to the individual.
That's correct. And my number changes, your number, hopefully your number changes, but it's important to have a number. And, when you're talking about that number, let's just say that, and this won't be everybody's goal, but let's just say that take your monthly income and multiply that by 12. Okay. So basically, and then if you have the goal that I can turn, this is a big goal, but I like having big goals. You can double it if you want to, but I'm just saying, at one time I said, I want to turn my yearly income into my monthly income. And I actually was able to do that. And whatever your number is, if you write it down and it's a big number, you will not be worse off if you do that. That's my point, man, is look, you're not going to be worse off if you double your money, if you double your income. Matter of fact, I'm a firm believer you're going to be much better off, but you will not be worse off. So, let's focus on it, man. Let's put some attention on it and move towards that. And if my goal is to double our income and our revenue in 2021, we're not going to be worse off if we 90%, if we hit 90% of that, right? We're not going to be worse off if we do a better job.
Right. Well, by the way, I did want to mention Jimmy Barnett. Yeah, he was talking about some of the comments that he had put in earlier when we were talking. He said, how are you supposed to help people if you're broke? And that's a very, very good point. Yes. Now granted, broke people, look, you can still donate your time. So, I guess you could say you can help others with time, but it certainly does help when you have money that not just throw the money at a problem, but you have resources, things that you can do differently when you have money. So I think that was a big one. One of the other comments that Jimmy made was his number is $25 million.
Hey, I like it. That's a good number. There's not much that you can't do if you got 25 million, Paul. So I like Jimmy's number. That's a good number. Thank you, Jimmy. And by the way, the reason I got froze a while ago, Jimmy tried to call me. I guess he didn't realize I was on on my phone. So he was watching the show, and I guess he wanted to talk to us. You have to give him the number to the studio there.
He actually did message that in. He said, I literally was reaching out to you. Ha, ha, ha. Didn't realize you were live at the time. So, so now he's watching. Now he's paying attention.
Awesome. So check this out, Paul. You know, people like to be negative when they talk about, they say things, people who are focused on money, people who are not focused on money or who don't agree with that, they like to say negative things like, all you're worried about is money, or, you know, you're so selfish, you shouldn't spend so much of your effort and your focus on money. I'm going to be mean back just to make a point and say what Jimmy said there. It's selfish if I'm broke. It's selfish if I don't focus on money. It's selfish if I don't get my money right, because then when something comes up where money's needed, I won't be able to help that person. So I appreciate what Jimmy said there. And you know, that's, I want to make that point is, you know, actually don't be critical of those who are 10X in their life and going for it, because it's actually, you're actually being selfish if you don't.
That's a very good point. And, you know, again, you know, there's a lot of people who think that, oh, greed, they use the word greed and they think, oh, greed, you just love money, you're just greedy. That's not what we're talking about. Right. We're talking about, you know, wanting money and being greedy is completely different.
Totally different.
I mean, so if you earn it, you put in the work. You and I have talked about for a long time, sacrifice is huge in order to be successful.
Hey, there's winning together. April right there. She's
April.
Going in her bungalow over there. I can't wait till Wednesday. We can go live with April on here. Paul, you'll have to help us out with that show if you don't mind.
Not a problem. I'll do that. And by the way, you know, I want to make sure I fit in. But so even though I can't be in Jamaica, is that better? Can you see me, Billy? So.
Yeah, I like it. All right, for those of you just joining, this is where we're at. This is the office this week. There's one of my Digi Ninjas. He's got to get some clothes on and go down and see the dealer at the Toyota of Jamaica and make it happen. So, Paul, I'm going to get out of your way, man. I know you're solving problems. I have dealers calling me. I've been talking to dealers all day. They want to know about our Digi Ninja chat. They want to know about the website information that we can help with them and how to build some funnels to drive their customers to their site. Quit driving your customers to other places. Drive them to your website and have your people talking to them. That's the best way to do business.
That's all. That is absolutely the perfect way to end the show. Have yourself a great time in Jamaica, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, man. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
That wraps up the show. Monday Morning Money Show. Don't forget tomorrow, 11 a.m. Digi Ninja Sales Academy right here. Billy W. Merritt. I'll be hosting that show, or maybe I'll be here hosting the show. I don't know. He's in Jamaica, so I don't know what's going on. All I know is he's having a great time, and we got to get back to work. So thanks for watching. And again, we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.